Ba-doo-doo. Hello there, Rib City. Chris Burkhardt here with you. Welcome in to another edition of Courtside Monday. It's been a fun time of year, let me tell you what, because I've actually got to do quite a few of the Courtside Mondays for a minute. There was like a stretch there where the Blazers were playing pretty much every Monday, and so I was just thrown to the wayside, right? I wasn't able to enjoy Courtside Monday, but I'm back, baby, and we're in the Rip City groove. Hopefully everyone's surviving out there. Holy smokes. The storm that we were supposed to have a few days ago, yeah, I think it hit today. I saw some pea-sized hail. I saw some lightning on I-5. I swear I saw like ball lightning. Something off in the left corner of my eye just exploded. It looked like a transformer. No, it was lightning. I never seen a lightning bolt like that. And then there was one as we're coming down I-5 here, probably about a mile in front of us, man. It looked like it hit right in the middle of the freeway. I'd never seen anything like that either. Kind of crazy. Getting tornadoes during that storm or today. My wife thinks I'm crazy because I'd go storm chasing. I think it'd be kind of fun. But you know what?
Wait, Twister style?
Oh yeah.
Give me some Glenn Powell.
Yeah, we're
get in
going green. Heck yes. Yeah.
If you can feel it,
Yep.
chase it.
Well done. All right though, but man, Blazers talk. Blazers, man, they went into New York the other night, and you know what? They did play all right for about a half, and then the wheels fell off. They lost to the Knicks. They have now lost multiple games in a row. Let's see. Oh, they got rammed by Boston. They got rammed by Cleveland. They got boat raced by Sacramento, and then they lost to New York 4 in a row. Now the hopes of the play-in are pretty much donezo. Right? I hate to break it to you. We've talked about this plenty of times, though. The math says there is still a chance, but logic says there is not, as the Blazers are, 5 back, basically, is what they have to win. They have to win 5 more games than Sacramento with 7 games to go. Ain't going to happen. All right. But you know what? There's still plenty of things that could happen, and there's still plenty of things to talk about. How's the season going? What do you think of this Blazer team now with just a week and a half left? What do you think about the coaching carousel with some interesting moves that have happened lately? How busted is your bracket? These are the type of questions I'm going to ask my guest today. Welcoming in Peyton Davis, friend of the show. He's like primo guest. I've had him on more than anybody. He's so funny too. I'm like, hey, can you come? Yes. I didn't finish my question. Yes. Like that's Peyton right there. Like you're just ready to go.
I try. Drop of a hat. Thank you.
Rookie move.
for as much as I've been here, you'd think that this is my first time. No, yeah, at the drop of a hat. I'm basically just waiting for you to text me, and then I show up. So lucky to be here, and like always, thank you for letting me on.
And and your partner, what, fiance, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's right. And she's like, why are you looking so sad, babe? Oh, Chris hasn't texted me today. It's Monday, and I've been waiting all morning.
Exactly. Another week, no text. I don't know. What am I going to do?
Man, but well, before we get into this, funny enough, you're a funny guy because I texted you the other day, and you cracked me up when you actually responded to this because I sent you a text. You were talking about my bracket, and I was like, I win because I didn't use AI. That text was 100% directed at someone else, and I didn't mean to send it to you. And you still responded, you're like, yeah, I get it. Mine's not authentic too, or something like that. I'm like, well, good job. Like you should have just been like, you're making no sense because it made zero sense in context to what you and I were talking about.
It totally did, but in radio, you always let it, you roll with it. Yeah. Everything you get, you take it.
He means something by this. I can't tell him I don't get it. He'll never invite me back. That's what that was.
It wasn't actually that, but at the same time, it was like, oh, there's a little out of it. But it was still in relativity.
It could make sense,
correct?
Right? Because there's probably people out there like, how'd you fill out your bracket? I made AI pick. I was like, hey, yes. Gronk, who's better, Duke or Florida? Like,
yeah, and it would be different too if we were like, oh my gosh, we're talking about something totally different. And then all of a sudden you're like, my bracket wasn't made with AI. I was like, okay, that doesn't make any sense. But we were already talking about brackets. So then I was like, this has to connect somewhere.
Yeah, well, it didn't. But you played it off quite well. But let's get to those. Let's get to those brackets. How good is yours looking?
Not good. I think I'm in the top, I want to say like 1.5 million. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I checked the other day, and it's the grandpa or the like the Homer Simpson's gif, right? Where he's just going back through the hedge backward. That was like, yeah, I
Exactly.
don't want to be here. I picked my bracket was busted when I decided to make the bright decision that I was like, I always like to pick like that one team. Like if there's a little Cinderella run, who's it gonna be? And so I had number 6 Missouri going all the way to the Final Four,
Ooh,
and that got handled pretty quickly.
yeah, I'm now seeing the Homer Simpson gif, and I'm seeing you, and just with the Missouri hat on.
Yeah,
All right.
I think I'm in like that 30 percentile or something. It's pretty.
Mine
bad.
was because I did the same thing, right? This is the second time in history that all the 1 seeds are in the Final
First
Four.
time since what 2008 or something like that.
just
Yeah, it's
something
been a minute.
ridiculous. So I chose for Florida to beat Duke in the final, but my Cinderella run was Gonzaga beating Houston to get to the Final Four. That was it.
That
So,
one hurts.
It wasn't terrible, but at
Yeah.
the same time, I also had I made multiple brackets, and they were all relatively similar. I had Florida winning in all of them, but that was the one where I was like, this one looks the best, and then it didn't really fast, and I was like, okay,
Well,
perfect.
I'm still looking all right because I am one of the 25% of brackets that pick Duke to win it all, so I can still come out kind of on top and get some points in the final round. But don't look at the rest of my bracket.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
you have anybody who was really rooting for the Johnnies?
No.
St. Johnny's.
No.
I had a couple people who were like, "Go Johnnies!"
Yeah.
All in. I was like, I'm all out.
I don't know anybody personally, but I know we heard about it. People made the mistake.
It was
again,
a movement. Yep, it was a
thinking
movement.
I made the mistake thinking St. John's this is going to be the year.
Yep. No,
But-
wasn't.
Man, college basketball though, isn't
I
it?
love it. I love it.
It's like a P90X, right? P90X, the old ab exercise.
Yes.
Was Tony Horton? I think that was his name. He used to have a saying, "When ab ripper X." It was, "I hate it, but I love it." Right, and that's how I feel about college basketball because I do not enjoy the game of college basketball. I think it's a little too sloppy for my takes. March Madness is great, but the regular season, but still, if you put it on TV, I'm like, yep, here we go. I am locked in. Give me my popcorn, my sodas. Like even the game that was on, you and I were watching, like Texas TCU in the women's bracket. I do not care about Texas or TCU, but there we are watching this game because God, March Madness is awesome.
It is, and you're totally right because I get into a mode where I'm like, I haven't watched any basketball a year, but then for me at least, and I'm sure you're the same way. It's like I start to look at the lottery and I'm like, who are the guys I need to watch? Who are the guys I need to watch? And then it's all of a sudden I'm watching Cooper Flagg and I'm like, okay, this guy's NBA ready. And then I'm like, all right, I'm watching, the Dylan Harpers and the Ace Baileys, and I'm watching, these other freshmen at Duke, and then all of a sudden I'm like, wait, I had no idea who Walter Clayton Jr. was.
Right.
Guys having 30 a game in March Madness. I'm like, okay, I'm locked back in. So like that's how I get into it. Is like I'm thinking about what are the Blazers going to do? What is everybody going to do? What what's the lottery going to look like? And then I really buy in. And then I'm like, oh look, that's where I've been sitting for 30 hours straight. Perfect. So
Right. Oh my gosh, it is wild. It is wild, but here we are. Still got a chance for my bracket to look good with the old Duke Blue Devils and future Trailblazer Cooper Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. He's filthy.
He's really good.
He is filthy.
He's really good.
I think what's really, really scary about him is like he's NBA ready, but you can see that I don't even think he's close to his potential. Like that's the scary thing about him. Like Zion coming out of Duke, like he was NBA ready too, but you're like that guy is like you knew what his potential was.
Yes,
is what I'm
you're
trying
like,
to say.
He's playing at his peak right
Like
now.
he's gonna get better, but like what the potential is.
Yes.
With Zion, man, with Cooper Flagg, you're just like, this guy is still like, he's like when you look at Donovan Clingan and you're like, that's a basketball baby, like in the fact like he is still so much to learn and all this, and he's still going to be really good, but you can see that there's a lot of potential.
Mhm.
That's what I see with Cooper Flagg, but in a guy who's already like NBA All-Star caliber, depending on the situation he's playing. It's unreal how good he is.
It's unreal. And I also look at him and I'm like, it's so funny because in the Elite Eight, he drops 30. And the funniest part to me, and this is awesome, is he'll drop 30 or he'll go have a monster dunk. And he's not even super excited. He's pretty nonchalant about it. But every time he throws an oop to a teammate or he kicks out for three and it's, to Knipple for three and he drains it, that's when he is so excited. So excited. He loves getting everybody else involved. And I'm like, you just dropped 30
Right.
in a college basketball game. That's very rare, 30. But you cannot get over, like, he loves the 7 assists. He loves it. Like, that's the craziest thing to me is, like, he is scoring so many points. And like you said, he's not even at his potential yet. But that's not even the aspect of the game that he loves to do. Like, it's mind-blowing.
All the more reason that he needs to be in Portland. 'Cause that's what I love about Scoot is when you watch Scoot, he gets way more excited when like Shea makes a massive dunk than when he scores.
100%.
Like he gets excited.
100%.
I like players to get excited for their team.
He'll lob it to Ayton for a jam, and that's when he's flexing at the crowd, turning around, throwing up his tongue out, sitting on the ground, like that kind of stuff just gets him fired up, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate. Portland's run to the number 1 pick. It's going to be rough, but I mean it's supposed to be destiny, right? Because as Sean Highkin, our Trailblazers insider, pointed out, is Cooper Flagg and Donovan Klingen's mom played on the same college basketball team. And there's
Family ties.
Picture floating around of them each wearing their mom's basketball jersey and for a photo shoot. So, see, there's connections between
There is.
Coop and Klingen.
Love it.
Coop
I
and-
can't. The only thing I can't have is people are talking a lot about if he goes to San Antonio. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if I
Could
can
you
watch basketball
imagine?
anymore. I don't know if I can.
You
watch basketball.
imagine they get into that?
Oh my gosh.
What's this one, Brenden? Before we go to break, that you were telling me the other day, it's like Cooper Flagg's not in the question, but the fact that Oklahoma City can realistically end get the 8th overall pick, like,
yeah, we were just talking about this.
because what they got Philly's pick, right, Brenden, protected like 1 through 7.
Top 6. Yeah.
Sorry, say that again.
Phillies.
You and I were talking about the other day. Oklahoma has Philly's pick. It's top 7 protected.
Top 6 protected.
Do you imagine?
So
if
like
that-
OKC, like Peyton and I were just talking about it when you were doing the. When you were doing this segment with Chad, and we were saying, like, could you imagine if Oklahoma City, top seed in the West, probably going to make a real charge at a title this year, says, oh yeah, ho hum, we have the 7th pick.
That's filthy.
Like, that would be filthy.
And it's so funny because like now if I'm Philadelphia, it's like I am doing everything. Like, yes, I'm shutting down Embiid. Yes, I'm shutting down Paul George. I'm shutting down everybody. Nobody's touching the floor. You won't know a single player that's on the floor for the Sixers because if they don't get a top 6 pick, it's to OKC. And like, I'm like, that's not fair. That's just not fair.
And looking at that a little bit more, like just for your guys' perspective, there is a roughly right now, if they didn't move, like a 36% chance it falls backwards. So, I mean, that's insane. Like, 'cause Philly can do all they can, sure, but if I'm OKC, I'm like, how you doing, number 7 pick?
Rich get richer.
Yeah, it's just like that's the icing on the cake for them. It's not like it's like for Philadelphia, this is everything.
Right.
And for OKC, this is like, oh yeah, I'll have some fries with that. I'll take a cherry on my Sunday, no problem.
Absolutely. All right, Peyton Davis joining me here on Blazers Courtside. We're going to take a quick little break, and when we come back, plenty more Blazers talk, draft talk, head coach talk, because there's a interesting move that happened over the last few days that really could change the NBA landscape a little bit, because I think this guy may be the most sought-after coach on the free agent market. Chris Burkhardt here with you. This is Blazers Courtside on your home of the Blazers, River City Radio, 620. We got a baseball bat back here. Jack Hurley, Hillsboro Hops.
Ever recall that thing's pretty cracked, isn't it?
I got this from Seth Hoyland, one of the three voices of your Hillsboro Hops. Helps run all their stuff over there. This is a little prize, a broken bat from Jack Hurley. So when Jack Hurley goes big time, we can say we got this bad boy from him. I want you to show, let the record show though that this thing is not torpedoed. It's not tapered at the end. The barrel is not moved back like the New York Yankees, which you were talking about. Wild times in New York. Baby.
Wild. And we were talking about half the reason that everybody's so upset is because the Yankees are doing it.
Oh yeah,
That's it.
If it were the Marlins or something, nobody cares.
Nobody, even if it was the Seattle Mariners, nobody cares.
Yeah, someone might have cared.
I would have. Not many other.
But no, it is funny though because everyone's that's why they're hitting so many home runs. No, because Aaron Judge is raking and he's not using that bat. And it's like two players on their roster are using it. And it's like I was explaining to you, if you have moved the sweet spot of your bat back, if I'm going through the zone every single time and I'm late on a pitch and that ball's hitting here instead of here, well, if I have taken this the meat of this bat and moved it here and I'm still late on every pitch, where's that ball hitting?
That ball's going from,
it's hitting the exact same spot of the bat.
Yeah.
I've just made that the meaty part of the bat.
Correct.
So it's not leading to more home runs. It's leading to more consistent contact, which annoys me because you're an NBA or a MLB baseball player. I should be able to teach you to swing earlier or swing quicker, to not be behind every pitch, rather than give you a bat that helps you.
Yeah. And then you go from a dribbler to the second baseman to a line drive over his head instead of,
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're an MLB player. Let's just
it's like if
time that pitch up a little bit better.
It's like if coaches in the NBA could just like be like, you know what, that one player that I have, he just doesn't have the strength to hit from NBA range, so he gets to take 3-pointers from an extra foot in, and if he hits them, they count.
Yeah, like you said, Yankees.
Also,
stop it.
Also, I love baseball. That's a pretty cool bat. Makes me want to go take some hacks. When's Hops Media Day? Do we get to go take some hacks out there? The Hops on their media day let the media take BP.
Perfect. I'll expect a text from you then.
Well played.
Yep.
Well
Perfect.
played. Well played. All right. Peyton Davis joining me. This is Blazers Courtside. And we were having obviously some good baseball talk because the torpedo bat is taking all the conversation as of late. But also Peyton, people are saying, oh, I kind of saw this coming. And I don't know about that because I did not see Taylor Jenkins being fired 2 weeks before the playoffs for a team that's top 4 in the West and fully healthy, has potential to make noise. I don't know if there's something going on. I think most of it, as I have heard and through my limited sourcing, is just, it seems like there was just a lot more of a Ja Morant butting of the heads, perhaps not liking the offensive sets and how certain things were run. And it's a star-driven league, and stars tend to get their way. But the first thing that you saw when this happened was, oh, Taylor Jenkins to Portland? Like, everybody was talking about this. Now, you do have a head coach right now. He has not been fired or let go. We'll see what happens in the offseason. But if the Blazers do decide to part ways with Billups, Taylor Jenkins has to be at the top of that list, right?
Has to be. Along with, I'm sure, 28 other teams. But
Right.
he has to be at the top of the list.
Like, and I'm not even saying at this point, like, I am not even advocating right now for firing Billups or whatever. That is a conversation that we will have when they get there, right? You still got the games the rest of the way. And I do think, as you said in the break, like, he has done some really good things with this team over the last few months. And like, if you're gonna poo-poo him when he's bad, I'm very big on you gotta point out when he's good too.
Oh, yeah.
And he's had plenty of bad in his tenure here, but he's been pretty good the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I think Billups deserves a lot of credit for how the team's playing defensively right now. Like, Tumani Kamara, I think, was really good, but I think Billups being a defensive guy has helped him get there even sooner. But I see a guy in Taylor Jenkins that, okay, maybe he's not the guy. Maybe he's not the guy that gets you to the promised land, but I'll tell you what, if Taylor Jenkins is your head coach, you're probably a playoff team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I like him.
I do too. And I think that here's the thing that is hard from a fan perspective, it's like, do I get upset when I see Shaden not starting and I see Chris Murray starting over Shaden against the Nuggets because we're trying to send a message? Yes. But then when I come back and watch Shaden play better on defense, like that's something as well. So it's like there is something to be said, like you said, you have to acknowledge the good as well as the bad. It cannot be one-sided, and that's something that, you know, with Chauncey, that's really how you have to look at it, because at the beginning, he doesn't have much. He's in the midst of a, major blockbuster trade with Dame, and then he really starts to go take control of the reins this season only, And so I agree. But like you said, Taylor Jenkins has to be at the top of the list if you're going into this. If something were to happen and you choose not to continue with Chauncey.
Yeah. Now, if it comes out that there's some, nefarious stuff going on behind the scenes and, there's this and that, and this is the reason that then yeah, you take pause,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if this is honestly what it sounds like, which at this point is just a butting of the heads, and a team was like, you know what, we really like our assistant, Jaw likes him, we're going to let him take over the rest of the way. If that's really all this was, just a power trip by a couple different people, then yeah, you take him.
Yeah, because also, even if it is, all I'm going to say is, even if that is the case, and even if you have, once again, I know that this assistant coach is awesome. EuroLeague, he's super incredible, has a bunch of records overseas, just a great coach. But 9 games before the postseason, and you've over, you have played really well throughout the regular season, and you decide to make this move, like you said, 2 weeks before the postseason starts. That is not a smart move in any way, shape, or form, I don't think.
No.
And like you said, maybe it's Ja, maybe T. Morant is going in the front office talking
right?
something, Like,
I mean, I wouldn't surprise me. He's one of those guys.
He is, but like any way that you slice it, even if this ends up being a good move for them in the long run, this is hard for me to then go into the offseason with the Memphis Grizzlies and be like, now Ja's so fed up, or whatever the case is, people are so fed up that now you want to change your offense again 9 games before the postseason. That's not going to do good for you when you go and play these S-tier teams. It's not going to pan out well for you. And so it's just the timing of it all really is what made me immediately be like, are there something behind the scenes going on? Did Taylor Jenkins do something wrong? But like you said, it sounds like it was just a couple butting of the heads and some, ill-timed stuff.
Yeah, ESPN, Tim McMahon reporting that the primary motivator behind this was Ja Morant not liking the new offense instilled this year that involved fewer pick and rolls. Like,
I don't
wild.
know. And this
Quick-
go ahead.
No, you're good, Brenden. What's up?
Yeah, no, just a quick thought on that. I mean, from what I was able to gather, and someone, I think it was the basketball Twitter account, Hardwood Paroxysm, which is, a pretty good follow for kind of internal data type stuff. And it broke down how the Grizzlies had played their fastest pace of the season early, and then it had started to steadily but surely go down, and they were playing a significantly less pace towards the end of the year. And, reading the tea leaves, Ja Morant likes to go fast.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that like looking at that data, that tells me maybe just a difference in philosophy, because I'm with you guys. I think Taylor Jenkins is one heck of a coach and someone to absolutely be considered if an opening happened to be here.
And I totally agree with that. But at the same time, when you look at a postseason team every year, what are the teams that succeed? The teams that are really great in the half court.
The teams that slow down and out physical you.
Absolutely.
Memphis is a incredibly physical team.
100%. That's how Jaren Jackson was playing so well. Is
Right.
they were like, we
It's
are
true.
going to run that offense through you. You're going to play. And he was offensively great this year.
Right.
Better than he'd ever been. And so it's like, that's what translates to postseason success. That's why, in my opinion, that's why when I look at the Houston Rockets, it's like, if I'm the Nuggets, if I'm a lower seed team, I want to play Houston. I want to, because
Right.
their whole thing is, we're going to play defense, we're going to play fast. Okay, well, if I slow you down, your half-court offense is bad.
Yeah.
Same with Memphis. They went from, correct me if I'm wrong, they went from a team last year who was like lower, 90th percentile bad in, like, they were one of the top 10 worst teams in half-court offense, but they played great in transition. Well, when you get into the postseason, you're going to be underwhelming. Teams are going to be able to stop you. The game slows down. That's why the Nuggets have always been great. That's why Jokic has always been great. And so for Ja Morant to overpower that and be like, what I want is more important than our postseason success in layman's terms, is crazy to me.
Right.
Crazy.
Which again, and you look at the teams right now that are the favorites, Oklahoma City, physical. Boston, physical. Like Cleveland has the better record, but Boston is built for a 7-game series.
And what did Cleveland go do? They said, we need to get more physical and get more size. They went and got DeAndre Hunter. It helps them. They got more physical.
Exactly. Which is nice because you look at how Portland is built right now. Tumani loves to play physical. Denny can play a very physical game. As he's learning, you see that physical game with Donovan as well, right? So you see the groundwork, right?
Absolutely.
For what they're trying to do. And yeah, your point about when you slow down and you get that more physical game, that's what Memphis is built for, and I think that's what Taylor was trying to set up there. People say, "Oh yeah, well he hasn't had the postseason success and this and that." Well, how many teams have had postseason success? Like it's it's not a lot of teams realistically who win the championships lately. You've had more of them come through. Now you got Denver gets one and Milwaukee, but again, Milwaukee was a physical team. Denver plays way more physical in the playoffs than anyone wants to give them credit for. Like Jokic is a finesse but a physical player. Just look at the scratches on his arm by the end of the night, right? Like, and then obviously Boston goes and win one. They're physical. You could look at Golden State, and yes, Golden State was a team that liked to push tempo too, right? But Draymond Green, super physical. Klay Thompson would body you on defense. Andre Iguodala was an enforcer. Andrew Bogut was bodying dudes.
Huge.
Like it was a physical offense. It was
Absolutely.
just a fast and physical offense.
What did Zaza Pachulia do to Kawhi Leonard's ankle? I mean,
what did he do to Mason Plumlee's plums?
It's true. I mean, even Golden State, to your point, Chris, even though they were kind of, the JaVale McGee, the Zaza Pachulia, the lesser known centers. In the postseason, those guys were playing because they were beating the crap out of you down low.
Because they were just big physical dudes.
Yes.
They weren't there to score points. They were just there to beat people up.
And there's a
100%.
reason Kevon Looney is still on that roster.
Great point.
Especially when and Golden State's a little different for me because I've seen a difference from I look at, once again, all-time great coach in Steve Kerr, but also their offense looks different since oh my gosh, why can't I Steve Kerr and former Blazers coach
Terry Stotts.
That offense has looked different since Terry Stotts has got there. Like it has looked better in the half court. And so those are teams with coaches like that where like I trust them more, And like you said, we've had all these bigs, but like Kevon Looney still is going to get he's not played a lot in the regular season. He will get postseason minutes. He will.
Yeah. So and again, it's like we watched this last night. That's why New York is an interesting team playoff time because Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson is physical for a guard. Like they got some bodies, but that's a Tom Thibodeau archetype, right? So yeah, your point about Memphis, it holds a lot of water. So that's interesting. Also, I think I like Ja. I like Ja. I think it's always weird when a team just cowers to what the one star wants, and that one star is on his third or fourth chance with you already because he's run afoul of your organization and done some stuff off the court. So
some stuff?
Yeah, some stuff. I'm being nice.
wait,
I'm being nice.
Put it under the rug.
Plus a couple of injuries due to the fact that they ran the 90th percentile pick and roll offense. Like he was in so much action and he had such high usage that he was getting injured.
Right. And but also he doesn't want to do the pick and roll as much anymore. But didn't he also say that he's going to dunk less because he needs to stop taking
he's not
more
dunking anymore?
He needs to take less of a beating. Well, let's get you out of the pick and roll a little bit,
100%.
Force the ball out of your hands some more, and rather than make you drive. Like Ja's great, man, but yeah, it's I get it. It's a star-driven league at the end of the day. I mean, it's the same reason why. I mean, it's not the exact same circumstances, but it's why we're Team Dame over Team Terry, right? Like, okay, time to cut bait with Terry.
Yeah.
Find a new coach, and that's just how it is in sports, right? It's all like you didn't cut bait with Steph Curry. You cut bait with Mark Jackson. You know what I mean? It's always the coach. It makes sense in that aspect. But again, it's just so weird to see a coach who I think is really good, a top tier NBA coach, get let go. I mean, you look through like the list of teams and their coaches, and it's like how many coaches have a better coach or how many teams have a better coach than Taylor Jenkins? And there's playoff teams like Missoula's really good. I think Ime Udoka's great. I really like Michael Malone, right? Bickerstaff has done a pretty good job. But also Bickerstaff wasn't he let go by Memphis at one point? Yeah, right. Like, Fizdale. Yeah, we just don't. Yep, you're done. Like, Lionel Hollins, the winningest coach in franchise history, who has basically defined this grit and grind. Yeah, you're done. But it's like a Dagnall in Oklahoma City is pretty good. But then you got Rick Carlisle's been around for a minute, but he's kind of in that same tier, probably.
I think that Taylor Jenkins is in the Mike Malone category.
Yeah,
I do. I really, really do.
Well, then let's hope and pray. Let's hope and pray that the Blazers are to Taylor Jenkins what the Nuggets were to Michael Malone, because Michael Malone was let go way too early for no good reason in Sacramento. No good reason.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sacramento was not exactly basketball savvy. I think that was when their owner was talking about doing the 4-on-5 when all that was going on.
I'm just saying, if he's going to compare him to Malone, well, then the next stop for Malone, he ended up bringing that team a championship.
Sure did.
So let's be to Taylor Jenkins what the Nuggets were to Michael Malone, and it makes sense.
And then bring us our Nikola Jokic and Cooper Flag, and we're all set.
Only if the Blazers can draft a future MVP during a Taco Bell commercial in the second round.
True. Maybe a Wendy's commercial this time.
That's true. We can shake it up.
There you go. I'm going to post on our social media now. Someone's going to take this idea. When the Blazers draft their player, I don't care who it is, I'm going to post a Taco Bell commercial over it and post it on our social media.
So legendary. It's such a flex for Jokic.
For the vibes.
I'm in. I'm all in. I'm retweeting it, reposting it, whatever's happening, I'm there.
What is the what's the 100-point giveaway? Did they have one in Denver? We got the Nugs here. We used to have the Chalupa. If they don't have a Taco Bell partnership in Denver, they are dropping the ball.
Oh, true.
They are dropping the ball.
True.
Like every time Nikola scores 30, you get a free taco.
Yeah, every triple-double, free taco.
They do not, upon first Google, nothing for going over 100 points. So, yeah, missed opportunity.
Yeah, every triple-double nets you a triple-decker burrito courtesy of Taco Bell.
See a lot of Taco Bell.
Like, come on. This stuff writes itself. I really should be in marketing, okay? All right, this is Trailblazers Courtside. We're going to take a quick little break. When we come back, plenty more Blazer talk. Get Peyton's thoughts on the end of this season here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into Courtside Monday. Chris Burkhardt here with you. You can follow me on social at Chris J. Burkhardt. Joined today by my pal Peyton Davis. Figured bring him in enough time so he'll give me that Xbox for free. Look at him laugh at me. That's right. You're waiting for the text messages. We all have ulterior motives. Now, me and you had a really good. See, you've started. I think you've started to learn this. When I have you come in, that like in radio, a ton of really good conversations happen during the breaks.
Oh yeah.
Because we're just like freaks for sports content. So you're like, what happens during the commercial break? Do you talk about what you're having for dinner? Do you talk about nope, we talk about more sports. We basically have more content. And then we're like, hey, let's talk about it. So we were just going down through this list. We had the list popped up of the head coaches in the NBA. And it's interesting because like we just went through the whole list and I found like roughly, and you give or take some standard deviation of about 2, right? But give or take about 10, 11 coaches that you would like, yep, I'm taking him over Taylor Jenkins.
Yeah.
Right? The Imes, the Joe Mazzulas,
The
right?
Spos.
Yeah, the Spos of the world. And then like the Chauncey's, like you're like, I found like 5 or 6 guys I think Chauncey's better than.
Yeah.
Right? So the gap there is pretty huge. Pretty huge. And I'm not even trying to be disrespectful because every single one of these guys in the NBA, they're a head coach for a reason, right? Like let's just get that out of the way. Like Jody Fernandez in Brooklyn, not a great coach. Darko Rajakovic in Toronto, I don't think he's a great coach. Billups, his record says he's not a great coach. Brian Keefe in Washington has the worst team in the NBA, and Charles Lee in Charlotte has arguably the worst playing team in the NBA. They both know more about basketball. It's like they both forgotten more about basketball than I'll ever know. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like they're all basketball smart. It's just when you're in the top 1%, man, the gaps they can show. But the point is, man, like they're like Taylor Jenkins he's a really good coach. And I think if you put him with this roster, you can Portland's a play-in team with that coach, that philosophy. They could build something special next year. Like I said, there's other coaches in the league I really like. Like everyone has their guys, and it doesn't mean that I think he's the best, but I really like Quinn Snyder. I don't know what it is about him. I think it's because he reminds me of like a hockey coach because he totally is.
You want a quinning?
Yeah. What? No.
You want to start quinning?
No. But Quinn Snyder totally reminds me of a hockey coach. Obviously, Eric Spoelstra. Oh yeah. If there's a dream scenario, it's bringing Portland's finest back home. Bringing UP/Jesuit Crusader back home to Portland. Come on, Spo. You know you want to come home.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's in the cards.
Not the climate like Miami, but we'll cheer you on, Spo.
Yeah,
okay?
But you know what? You might have the climate in Miami, but you know what you don't have? You don't have the love.
True.
You don't have the love. This city loves you, and you're not even our coach, Spo.
We bleed purple. I'll become a UP fan if I have to.
No. Excuse me. No. You can become a UP fan, but no Blazer fan should ever utter "I bleed purple." That's Laker colors, my friend. You need to know better.
No.
That's also Husky colors, and you need to know better.
True.
Okay.
That's true.
I know you're not a Duck, so purple and gold doesn't affect you as much as it affects me, but still.
It still hurts me.
Yeah.
It does.
You need to knock that off.
It hurts
there.
you more, but it does hurt me still.
Just bleed.
I'll just bleed red. That's fine. It's normal like everybody else, but
just
Blazers
say you'll
colors.
bleed on the bluff. Like go to the bluff.
Okay, love it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you can. UP's pretty awesome though. They are pretty awesome. But man, it's just so wild. Like this is taking up the whole show because it's just so rare. It feels like to have a coach of that caliber kind of get let go. And again, the more you're starting to see about it, the more you start to see that it just seemed to be like a butting of the heads, which we've seen before in the league. Like it happens, but man. This offseason just got really interesting. Like, I mean, how many teams are going to be on the fence on whether or not they were going to move on from their coach, and then they just saw Taylor Jenkins become a free agent?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing, and this is not off topic, but like I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they were like, what word would you use to like just one word to define this NBA season? And it was hard because I was like, the basketball itself actually has been like kind of not underwhelming. I just mean like you've had 3 dominant teams the whole season. Like I was like the Thunder have not seen a losing streak this year. The Cavs have not seen a losing streak until the last 7 games.
Right.
Boston has never seen a losing streak. But like if you told me at the beginning of the year that Luka would be a Laker, if Taylor Jenkins would get fired 9 games before the postseason, I would be like, you are lying to me. There's no world where that ever happened. Like, so I think I ended up with like just unpredictable.
Right.
The Blazers were predicted to win. I talk about this all the time. The Blazers preseason prediction was 18 wins. 18 wins.
Right.
And we're sitting at 32 and 43.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you, not only, if you would have told me that, Luka would be a Laker, Jenkins would be fired, and with 7 games left, that the Blazers would still not technically be mathematically eliminated.
Yeah.
I would have told you.
Or if the Blazers are in the East.
Yeah. They're in.
They're a play-in team.
Yeah. I mean, that's unpredictable. That's
crazy.
the NBA this year, man.
Crazy.
That's for sure. It's kind of fun. It is kind of fun. So let's ask you. We got about 3 minutes here, and I won't talk to you again probably until after the postseason. I might get you on. We'll see what my schedule is for the show. Who's your favorite? Who do you think wins this bad boy? Who's coming out of the East?
I think I've always said Boston. And the reason I say that is because I was convinced it was Cleveland, and then the Blazers were on a win streak in the East. They had just battled with Cleveland in overtime. Granted, they didn't have Donovan Mitchell, but we went into Cleveland and we gave them a run for their money. Tumani played Evan Mobley, probably one of the best defensive matchups he's seen. And then we went and played Brooklyn, I think, and then we played Boston in Boston. And I was like, we can beat Boston with no Jason Tatum and Kristaps Porzingis. We can do that. And Derek White had 9 threes and dropped 42, and Peyton Pritchard had 46 and dropped 11 threes. And I was like, this team has everything. It has everything.
They came into Portland last week with no Jaylen Brown, no Kristaps Porzingis, no Drew Holiday, and Sam Hauser went 8 of 10 from beyond the arc.
And that was at a point in the season where I was like, the Blazers can really make a run here, and they can do something. And we were on the push, and then all of a sudden I was like, every time, especially when you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown playing, every time that they touch the paint, they are kicking it to a 40+% three-point shooter. Every time.
It's filthy.
It's
Filthy.
filthy.
All right, you're taking the Celtics out of the East. Who are you taking out of the West?
I think it's okay. I mean, it's OKC for me. It is. As much as I get worried sometimes about the non-SGA floor minutes, he's just so good. And I think Chet is their second best player. I do. J-Dub is awesome, but at the same time, I see issues and I see the offense get a little stagnant when SGA is off the floor and it's just J-Dub. But at the same time, it's like they are so awesome to watch. And I think I got to go OKC. I think it's OKC.
I'm down with that. I think I would probably take both those teams as well. I think this is Boston's though. The way I've seen them the last week come through, watch these few games against the Blazers, watch them everywhere else. Like they're just built for it, man. Physical. It's what we talked about with Memphis and Taylor
everywhere.
Jenkins. Everywhere, top to bottom. Like their backup point guard, Peyton Pritchard, plays physically.
Absolutely.
So, wild. All right, Peyton, man, thanks for joining us. You said you listened to me, you grabbed a camera, you started YouTube. Where can they find you?
Yeah. I've made 4 or 5 videos. You can find me at DavisPD03 on YouTube. Just stuff like this. Talk Blazers, talk NBA, stuff like this all the time. I have a video that's coming out about Dame and the blood clots and my devastation.
Well, there you go. Go find him.
All that stuff.
Thanks again, Rip City. Hey, I'll have game day for you tomorrow at 2:30 right here on your home with Blazers, Rip City Radio. But it is Courtside. There's only one way to end it. As always, Rip City, I love you.